Good evening and welcome back to Underrail. Last time we brushed shoulders with a few of the heads at the Institute of Chort. Now we need to pick up on a few more and start cleaning out our new quest log. Hope everyone's doing well this evening. Got a few ideas of what I'll end up doing when we've wrapped up with Underrail and such, but that is a fair bit off, so I'm going to focus on what's in front of us for now. And preferably not get shocked to death. This thin man seems uninterested in you at first glance, as his facial expression doesn't change at all when he notices you trying to start a conversation, and his body language doesn't differ. What you also find peculiar is the fact that he almost never breaks eye contact, but maintains it during the whole conversation. Luckily, he blinks in regular intervals, or else the mechanical stare would seem even more awkward. Also, it comes as no surprise that his tone of voice is as flat as his excitement for the conversation he is engaged in. Short as evolution, I am Investigator Kiro. Who are you? Evolution is short, brother. I'm big and I want to ask you a few questions. No problem at all, brother. What is on your mind? I'm in need of high-tech gadgetry and components. I guess this would be the right place to ask. There are components and devices that I may be able to offer you for purchase, but I must have P.I. Steff's permission before I can actually do so. You can go ask him. Okay, just tell me where I can find him. His office is the one with the double doors, just by the resonant transformer. Hard to miss it, brother. Well, we already know, but can you tell me who's in charge here? That would be Principal Investigator Steff. He runs the Department of Physics. He should be in his office in case you need him. Anything else on your mind, brother? What's that machine you're working on? This is our particle Okay, alright. From the examples I've seen, sure. That actually makes sense now. What accelerates them? Electromagnetic fields? Precisely, brother. What you see before you is only one part of the machine. The rest is a 500-meter-long circular track looping through the Institute building. This allows us to propel particles around until they reach sufficient speed, and then we steer them, guide them, like Chort guides us, with superconducting magnets. The particles form beams, and then we can collide them or aim them at fixed targets. And what do you learn from all this? We can study how the particles react during collision, what kind of radiation gets released. We can observe the effects it has on materials and tissue. It can be used for many things. Currently, we use it to simulate surface radiation, or what we hypothesize it could be like. Or we will be using it after the replacement superstill sheets are installed inside the track. We are fortunate to have inherited it from the original engineers of this building. We can maintain it, but constructing one today would be nigh impossible. Short guide you. Short guide you, brother. Pretty sure if you walk between those, you do die. The investigator seems to have just finished typing something on his keyboard when you walked in. Final keystroke coincides with you coming to a halt before him. He lifts his head and observes you through his glasses and instantly notices one detail. There is a smudge on them. Naturally, he removes the glasses, picks up a handkerchief from his drawer, and begins wiping the lenses clean. As he is doing so, the conversation begins. Short as evolution. I haven't seen you before, brother, and you must be here either to appreciate the light show produced by our resonant transformer, or to do some scientific investigation. Either is acceptable. He smiles. I am Principal Investigator Steph, but please, just call me Steph. You are? Evolutionist Short, brother. I'm Bacon, and I had a few questions for you. I have no objections to that, Bacon. Ask whatever questions you had. I'm interested in purchasing some high-tech stuff if you've got any available. An unusual request, but one I can respond to positively. Talk to Investigator Kira and tell him I gave you permission. The selection should be satisfying, I'm sure. Where can I find him? He's over there by the particle accelerator, probably doing some calculations. He's a brilliant mathematician, so I allow him to do all the difficult math for me. Why did you join the Institute of Chort? That was a long time ago. He laughs. I'm going to give you a simple answer here. There's no need to go into a lot of details. Here's a single sentence. I always had imagination, and here I can make it a reality. That's all there is to it, brother. What can you tell me about this department? Well now, this is the Department of Physics, and that is exactly what we do here. Physics. He laughs. We have our little lab here and our own personal particle accelerator. Even, and we are pretty much, and we are okay, that has an extra R there. And we pretty much have our hands free to do whatever we desire. We perform tests, experiments, and make new discoveries in an attempt to further aid this institution and its goals. Sounds like a lot of fun. Oh, physics is fun. Apex. And don't let anyone try to convince you otherwise. I suppose the only downside is that we sometimes tend to be underappreciated, I feel. You know, by the other departments. Like, physicists play with their toys, blah blah blah. Iodine, pardon me for saying that, but it can get on my nerves sometimes. But when we do show them something, Apex, then their jaws instantly crack the floor. He smiles. Was wondering if there was any work I could help you with? His face suddenly turns grim. Interesting choice of words, Bacon. How so? I mentioned it was interesting because of a young Rassifor who, came to me with those exact same words you just spoke. I mean, he was interested in what we do here and wished to help. Please continue. His name is Pavel. At the time of his arrival, the department was testing a terahertz, or T-ray emitter, that would allow us to perform through-wall imaging. I hope you are able to understand how useful such technology could be to us. Just imagine, better leave the long talk for later and return to Rassifor Pavel. It was a man who clearly missed his call, a member of the preservation forces who had more interest in scientific investigation than anything else. He would often drop by our lab and was, no doubt about it, genuinely interested in all the wonders of physics. Some 2 days ago, he dropped by the lab and found out the full possibilities of through-wall imaging, which made him even more interested and excited. I told him about needing to somehow test the emitter in a very active environment, and since the West Wing had been reopened, he personally volunteered to go there and plant the device. I thought it was too dangerous, and, well, now, asked him how he was going to do it without immediate Samuel finding out. But he convinced me he had a plan for everything and everything was going to be Apex. Well, I guess I sent him to his doom, where he hasn't returned still, and I regret ever accepting that risk in the first place. I'll go look for him if you'd like me to do so. No, I am not sending anyone else there. I made that awful mistake the first time. Iodine pardoned me. He just insisted so much. He really wished for the technology to work. So much, in fact, he was willing to risk his life. I don't want to risk yours or anyone else's. Let's see. I'm not a rookie, Steph. I can handle myself quite well. If Pavel is alive, then he is probably hurt and unable to return on his own. By the Chort. This is all so messed up, he sighs. Go then. Go to the West Wing. Should you find him, bring him back if there is anything to bring back. The emitter is not important, but returning it wouldn't be frowned upon. Short guide you, Bacon. I'm on the way, brother. Short guide you. Need something, brother? Yeah, tell me more about the T-ray technology you're developing. Hmm. How about I start with the problem first, then move on to the T-ray technology, which is the solution to the problem. Our whole lives, we live surrounded by walls. Rock, brick, metal, take a pick. Open space is non-existent, pretty much, and, well, visibility is therefore very limited. What if we could see through these walls? Huh? Let's move on to that. To be able to acquire a certain image of what is behind an obstacle, you first need to send some particle through or around it. Since going around is not an option most of the time, though it'll have to be, brother, you can use high energy ionizing radiation, but that'll probably give you cancer or outright kill you. It depends. But if the energy is too low, then you are not penetrating the obstacle. The best type of radiation, according to our tests, is the terahertz radiation. It lies between the microwave and the infrared band, with frequencies, well, measured in several terahertz. It is convenient for one other reason. We have managed to fine-tune the waves to pass through solid, non-living objects but be reflected back when when it hits living tissue, creating a three-dimensional map of all living entities in the operational vicinity of the emitter device. Oh, that is amazing, but it can only detect living things, right? Currently, yes, but even that is a leap forward from what we had before. Zilch. He laughs. I mean, it would be pointless to explain what you can do with it. You're a smart enough man, so I'll let your imagination do the work. If you ever decide to become an investigator, imagination will be your most powerful ally. Iodine, pardon me, but sometimes it is even more important than knowledge. Remember that, eh? I have to go now. See you later, Steph. Short guide, you bacon. I believe that wraps up each of the investigative branches. Because this was the chemistry bunch and this was the biology batch. But I don't believe we can tackle anything else with other groups. Not just yet. We did not check here. What is this? Oh, must be their symposium area. Nice. Yeah, hope everybody's doing well and that your days are being productive or otherwise pleasant. Psychokinetic chain. I don't remember if that's new or not. I believe Percival was the one that was inside Core City. Hmm. You find yourself standing before a man wearing beautifully ornamented robes. He stands tall and confident, with a chiseled face and radiant green eyes most would kill for. What is most striking about him is his unusual stare. It appears to be constant, never changing, neutral, but every time you see it, you perceive it in a different manner. One moment it strikes you as benevolent, wise, even paternal. The other, it makes you feel exposed and apprehensive. He projects his voice without effort and speaks in a calm, non-rushed manner, with a slight drag at the end of each sentence. Short as evolution, brother. I'm terribly sorry, but I am currently engaged in a conversation with these acolytes. Could you please seek me at some other time? Sorry for disturbing you. Short guide you. Okay, well, excuse me, princess. That's something else I need to play again sometime in the nearest future. Just go through a bunch of the Zelda games. Lots of good stuff to be had there. Oh, look, it's Mr. Dinzel. Oh, no, nothing to say, huh? Before you even have the chance to say anything, one of the two men points at you and speaks in a familiar, enthusiastic voice. Ah, Bacon, good of you to finally show up. I mean, the Mediant and I were just discussing how you retrieved the Reaching Man from the clutches of those devolved inbreds, and the affritor is cut short by a resolute voice coming from the other man, one whose different and arguably more elaborate uniform markings introduce as someone of superior rank in the Chortis hierarchy than Infreter Denzel. One of the symbols, an eye with three equidistant tentacles sprouting out of it, is similar to the one on Ifriter Denzel's, barring the extra tentacle. Silence. I have heard it already, and our brother already knows it from first-hand experience. Huh? Bacon, I am Mediant Samuel, the second in command of preservation forces of the Institute of Chort. Welcome to my office. Chort is evolution. We'll salute. I see you are learning very fast. I like that. Quick adaptation. Now, I need you to wait a few moments for me to finish with the Afriter and send him away. This won't take long. Your notability? Obedient, I don't understand what you mean. Send me away? Then let me explain it, Afritor. As soon as we're done here, you're going to take your Rastifor unit and lead them to patrol the upper Underrail. Routes W1 through N5. The theft of the Reaching Man revealed how susceptible we are to having our couriers intercepted by the likes of lunatics and other inbred lowlifes. I want the area surrounding the Institute secure at all times. At all times. Infuriation seeps from the Ifritor. His body language reveals it, yet just before replying to the Mediant, he calms down, as if ice-cold water was poured on his head. With the anger washed away, what is left is but great distress. Your notability. I worked hard with Bacon to locate and retrieve the the Reaching Man, to bring it back in time for the anniversary, as is my duty to the Institute, to Idine, and to Chort. You realize that, yes, I know you do. Yet I am rewarded for my hard work by being sent on a meaningless patrol? You're lying through your teeth, my dude. You're lying into your respirator. Hard work? Don't make me laugh, Frieder. If idling away in front of the Institute gate and waiting for a passerby, a complete stranger, to ask for help constitutes as hard work, then by all means you deserve a promotion. Promotion, no? Perhaps you could even replace me if that is what you desire. It is not how it happened, Mediant. If you... Silence. I don't want to hear another word from you, Ifritor. Did you really think that your babbling and bootlicking would make me forget how the whole situation was handled? Yes, even though the figuring is back in our hands, it's not because of you, but because of a chain of very fortunate events, and the help of Bacon, who, by the chort, did a lot more than you. Now out. You have your orders, Ifritor. Chort guide you. Overflowing with disappointment, the Ifritor leaves with a barely audible farewell. Chort guide you, your notability. Get wrecked. Bacon, I am really sorry you had to take part in this. I have zero tolerance for such... I don't even know how to describe it. Incompetence. That is the adequate term. Now you, on the other hand, are exactly the opposite. You adapted yourself to the situation at hand beautifully. culled the lunatic vermin, and retrieved the valuable figurine and achieved your goal. You became a member of our beautiful institution. Perfect. Survival of the fittest at its best. No? Now, I have been dying to meet you. Not literally, of course. Let's us leave that to someone else, he laughs. I have work for you. A test, if you will. But if you had questions before we start, feel free to ask them now. When did you join the Institute of Chort and why? I'm afraid I dislike discussing that subject, brother. Alright, I respect that. In that case, I'd like to ask you a different question. By all means, do so, brother. What can you tell me about the West Wing? I hope her notability, Praepostor Amelia, didn't miss warning you about the West Wing, no? Well now, brother, the truth is that a warning is the only concrete information that you can get regarding the West Wing. The sad truth is, we don't know what horrors exist in that wretched place, and after what happened more than 30 years ago, we weren't too eager on finding out what happened 30 years ago. It's a long story. Perhaps you should visit Praepostor for that, no? What can you tell me about preservation? Preservation is one of the Institute's divisions, the one concerned with preserving Chort, this institution and all its members. Our Racifors are among the best trained troops in Underrail, only we haven't had the chance to show it to outsiders, no? He laughs. How does one become a Racifor? First thing is dedication to the Institute of Chort and its ideology. Without it, everything else becomes meaningless. Second is hard work and rigorous training. Without it, one will not be able to perform his duties within the preservation forces. Third and final is adaptation to any and all situations that Racifors might encounter. I think that covers everything, no? What can you tell me about Harmost? Harmos Stavros commands all preservation forces and relays his orders to a mediant, which is currently me, who then relays them to troops below. His Excellency is a wise man with years of experience and a great sense of strategy. He was a student of Monsignor Martial, after all, no? When can I meet him? When he returns from Cytosine Outpost in Deep Caverns. When will that be? I am not sure, brother. Cytosine Outpost? Yes, it is the first line of defense between the Faceless and our positions in Deep Caverns. So basically, you're in charge until he returns. That is correct, brother. Communication between this location and Deep Caverns is unreliable at the moment, so Harmos had to leave the command to someone capable enough, no? So I've been trying to do my best to maintain everything as if His Excellency were here himself, as if I was in his position, in a way. Let me ask you something else. By all means, do so, brother. What can you tell me about the Faceless? The Faceless, our arch-nemeses. He laughs. They are. From the very beginnings of Institute of Chort, the Faceless were poking their augmented noses into our business and try to hamper our progress. They are violent, cannot be reasoned with, they don't even have free will. I'm not over-exaggerating. They never show any emotion or independence. They just cull. We know it. We have seen it. Seem to give you a lot of trouble. They try. Or tried. The first years of the Institute were the hardest for us. We hadn't had a strong foothold in Deep Caverns, so defending Chort from the corrupted was very difficult. We were in constant conflict, shedding blood on a daily basis. Then, in year 42, we took a decisive victory in the Battle of Nucleus. Harmos Martial commanded our Racifors and gave the Faceless a lesson in warfare they'll never forget. So they left you alone after that? They never mounted any major assaults against the preservation forces since that defeat. In the next 60 years, only irregular skirmishes were a sign that they were still alive. I don't even believe they have shown their dystrophic bodies in 10, maybe 15 years. Until now, when they assaulted Core City. Well, that's enough about that, no? Did you have any more questions, brother? Can I ask you some questions about Chortism? Isn't it better to ask someone from propagation? No? One of the ministers, or better yet, Praepostor Amelia? I mean, it is their job to teach novitiates and hold lectures. Now, don't get me wrong, we can sit here and chat about chortism all day long, but I don't want to be teaching you basic concepts of chortism, if that is what you seek of me. Any more questions? Yeah, so about that work you had for me. Yes, I can see you're interested in becoming part of preservation, no? I would just like to see what my options are here. There is much to be done in the Institute. Very smart. The Institute is indeed a place of possibilities, and I can understand you have so much to learn and so many options to consider. Allow me to present one to you, and let's see what you think of it. I have a simple job for you. You are aware of the destructive force that was the recent earthquake. It did terrible damage throughout Underrail. Unfortunately, the Institute wasn't spared from its wrath either. One of the walls in the utility section, a couple of levels below us, has collapsed, revealing a passage to the long abandoned Harpocrates station. Minor damage, all things considered, which is lucky for us. However, it poses a security risk. As you may have already guessed, it was actually recently discovered, for the breach happened in one of the locked rooms no one entered for a long time. We hadn't noticed what happened until, well, I can't remember who it was, but someone went there and witnessed the chaos. Naturally, a RASA-4 unit was dispatched to scan the area, and it was free of threats at the time. When we later checked some of the old plans, however, we noticed that Utility Station 7, west of Harpocrates' main hall, has a long tunnel leading somewhere far away. Pipeline goes through it, so the plans show, but I'm worried about something else coming through. You understand me, no? I need someone to explore that utility station and secure it. Someone. He smiles. I'll check out the utility station, just tell me how to get there. Go down the stairs by Iodine's library and you'll see a couple of Reciphores. They'll give you the key and let you through to the station. There's another set of stairs further to the right. Do not go there. It is a utility area which suffered a few gas leaks after the earthquake and is currently unsafe. Yeah, that's a lie, my dude. I've already peeked my head in there. Unless he's talking about the room with the mutants. No, that's a different place, I think. That's all for now, brother. Come back once you are sure that the area is secure. Chort guide you. Form the salute. Chort guide you too, Mediant. But before that, this young woman welcomes you by putting her hand on her chest and follows with a verbal greeting. Her bright and high-pitched voice sounds pleasant and matches her petiteness perfectly. On the other hand, the full combat uniform that she is wearing, complete with a mask she never removes, characteristic you noticed in all Reciphores throughout the Institute, creates a different, if conflicting, visual image. Chort is evolution. I am a Freitor Hana, armory keeper for the Institute of Chort. You're Bacon, if I'm not mistaken? That rhymed, but I do it all the time. Evolutionist Chort. Yes, I am him. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you too, Bacon. Under Mediant Samuel's direct orders, you are allowed access to Preservation's armory, despite the fact you are not a Raciphore. Yet. Of course, armory access is not free, so prepare some Karens before making a purchase. So 1 second, see you later. Short guide you. We're going to put on our good stuff. And that should... I don't think we needed another item to hit the 105 mark. Nope, we're good. It's been a while since we had to do it. Hey, Bacon, what culling tools do you need now? Excuse me, Freighter, but would you mind showing me the rest of the equipment? The things you don't show to just about any novitiate. Price is not an issue. I've got the coin to spend. If that is the case, then let me show you what we got, Bacon. Yay! Ah, geez. Y'all got some armor, I'll say that much. So see, if we were doing a high strength and just generalized tin can build, these are the kinds of things you could start expecting from pieces, like basically half resistance to mechanical and energy. Not much for heat and acid on that one, but that's, I believe it only has one modification in there. But yeah, they've got some huge numbers. You just have to be willing to put some stuff into them. But what we're interested in, if we're interested... Oh, nice. Take that. That. As you see, none of the shields are going to quite match what we've got. But that's just par for the course, really. Now, if we were to grab components for weapons, they wouldn't be on Constantine's level, but, I mean, 136, they're getting up there. You know, they've got some fairly decent levels of goods. But, okay. I was kind of hoping for something more than just this, but that's fine. Alright. Would have figured I would have had to have said something to Samuel, but I guess he put in the good word for us ahead of time. And with that, I believe we have access to all of the shops in the Institute. So at this point, we're pretty loaded. Well, I shouldn't say loaded. We have plenty of options, rather. What a beautiful room. Would be a shame if somebody were to, say, empty it out of goods. Oh, y'all don't have very high detection, do you? Uh-huh. The instant you make your presence known, the two men turn their heads towards you. Without hesitation, the one in the highly decorated black robes, a skinny-faced man in his late 50s, addresses you with a determined yet smooth voice. Excuse me, brother. I don't know who you are, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave this office. Judicator Azarias and I are in the middle of an important discussion and really cannot afford to be interrupted. The other man, appearing to be of similar age, is quick to join in. His round, wrinkled face, which has had a stern expression ever since you came in, quickly turns red. His voice is only slightly deeper, but notably harsher, even a bit strained, than the other man's, making him sound much more imposing. Magnificent Chort! What is the meaning of this audacious intrusion? How dare you barge into the Provost's office like that? Please calm down, Judicator. Remember what Brother Gerfrans told you about getting upset. Think of your health. And also, come to think of it, I believe this young man here is the novitiate who retrieved the Reaching Man from the Feral Lunatics, which of course does not give him the right to do, as you say, barge into my office. He smiles. Still, we can forgive him for this act under the assumption that it never repeats again. Correct, novitiate? The Judicator calms down. If you say so, Vladden. I mean, your great honor. But were this my office, an act of disrespect such as this would not be tolerated so light-heartedly, I assure you. I have no doubt in your words, Judicator. He smiles. Now, young novitiate, I'll ask you again, politely, to leave us to our discussion. Thank you. Yeah, we'll play nice for now. I am very sorry to have interrupted you, and I will leave this office at once, Provost, Judicator. Chort guide you both. Apology accepted. We will forget this ever happened. Chort guide you, novitiate. I'll be back. Perhaps. Huh. Come up to a slim, middle-aged woman who welcomes you to her office with an indistinct gaze, while her attractive face, marked by prominent green eyes, has an even, almost wrinkle-free appearance. Her loose, deeply lined neck is an honest indicator of her true age. Her voice is calm and collected, and only slightly rough on the edges. Additionally, more than one thing about her appearance and behavior seem familiar to you, but you cannot immediately figure out why. Chort is evolution. May I help you? Evolution is Chort. I'm Bacon, and I had some questions for you, if you have the time. Bacon? Yes, I know exactly who you are. I am Episcopos Lydia. Welcome to my office. I have very little time to chat, so I ask you to make your questions as brief and concise as possible. Now, what is it you needed of me, Bacon? What do you do here? You mean, in a sense, what job does an episcopos perform? If so, then the answer is simple. An episcopos oversees and manages all three departments within investigation. I have been in this position for, I'd say, almost 10 years, and during that time we have had numerous achievements. Does that answer your questions, Bacon? Can you tell me more? I'm really curious. And you have to wait for a more appropriate moment. I have plenty of work to do at the moment, and time is short. What can you tell me about investigation? Investigation can be summarized easily with a single word: knowledge. As you know by now, I hope, Chortism views Chort as both a physical entity and a symbol of knowledge related to it. But it doesn't stop there, Bacon. The evolution of humankind does not benefit just from genetic research. For example, by making ourselves physically resilient, like, say, the recombinants, physical form is only one fragment of the complex, complex natural puzzle we've obliged ourselves to solve. An investigation's goal is to discover each and every one of these fragments. Knowledge is key, Bacon. That is all from me. For other details regarding investigation, you are to seek Preposter Amelia. I will leave you now, Your Eminence. Chort guide you. Chort guide you, brother. But the filing cabinets. Think of the good. Oh. Whoops. So, the reason why that door was, in fact, red is that is the way to Iodine's, office. And naturally, if I'm not invited, then, gotta keep my ass out of there. But if we're not seen, then everything is... Oh yeah, hello. But everything is free game, right? Oh, that's probably up. Oh, this a locked one? Yeah. A locked filing cabinet in a locked room. Yeah, it's an okay pistol. We'll grab it. It can be used to be sold or something, I'm sure. Bacon, I am very pleased to see you. What can I do for you? Can you tell me more about the West Wing? The West Wing was in, I think... Yes, you've already said this. What can you tell me about yourself? I am sorry, Bacon, but I would rather not speak of myself. The only thing I'm willing to tell you is that I am Institute born and that I have been a dedicated Chortist for the entirety of my life. Do you have any other questions, Novitiate? I'm interested in some directions. Are there any merchants around here? Let's just be sure. Food, weapons, medicine. Okay, yeah, no, we've already got everything covered. Short guide, you Preposter. So we're gonna save. We're gonna see if we can't make our way into, Iodine's office. Actually, do we have a stealth generator on us at this moment? Actually, that would be... Okay, no, there's nothing to be done about that, unfortunately. I would probably need a stealth generator and a Probably some more specialized stealth gear if I were to actually slip in past those two. This is just another shortcut throughout this place. We do want to get in there eventually. Yeah, I believe that's all of the floor now. So, let's work up from the bottom. We'll take care of a couple of things before we call it. Starting with neutralizing Psycho. Psycho the Psy Beetle. We are currently at 2 out of 30 for the next level. I don't see all this offering a full level, but it could push us pretty close to 25. So let's just save. Psycho! In actuality, this is actually super easy. And then where, oh where could our plot item be? Does that not count? Huh. Alright. Okay, I think we have to throw a flashbang then. Should totally be able to just use it in combat after you stun them. It's the same result. But I digress. You moved. So let's slow things back down. He's probably, yep. Let me just drag it and put it on the hotbar real quick. Let's just avoid dealing with that. Can I not? Okay then. Okay then. How are you not dead? And for that matter, how am I not dead? Oh, okay, well, my bad. The creature seems knocked out for the time being. Now that you have a chance to take a closer look, you can truly admire its impressive size. However, it appears that its rough, scarred carapace reveals more than you had expected. This creature is one of extreme age. How old exactly? You're unsure. Miniature landscapes adorn the beetle's back. Every scar, scratch, or defect on it illustrates a separate story of this being's long past. But time to study it you do not have, however, as the creature could regain consciousness at any point. Use the neural pacifier. What the hell was that? You perform the procedures you were instructed. You position the device so that the markers match the carapace, opening the line of the beetle's head, and press the activation button on the neural pacifier. As soon as you do so, you hear the device activating, and after a brief delay, the faint sound of the carapace cracking reaches your ear. You expect some reaction from the creature, twitching, or some other motion as a consequence of this probably painful intrusion, but the beetle remains static. Soon, everything quiets down. Yay! Creature is motionless and doesn't react to your presence in any way. Wow, it didn't even take us down lower than our, lower than the bandage threshold. Okay, so haven't met one of those yet. Okay, I'll just straight up have a... Alright, that explains that then. Well, as lovely as it would be to... So what if I... You know what, we're going to save real quick. This is probably going to end up in a load, but what if? Oh. How the hell did you get out then, Beetle? What the hell? Okay, then. I guess we won't be experimenting in getting glorious oddity points from strange creatures we haven't seen before. Is it done? It is done. I planted the neural pacifier on the creature's head, and it is now, well, pacified. Very good. Very good. I am pleased. I will send someone to take care of that, and you, your name was? Bacon. Bacon? I heard that just recently. Figurine? Did you... Yeah, so yes. Now I understand everything. I... I would like to apologize for my earlier behavior. Magnificent Short. It's always just... I have a lot of work here, an incredible amount of work, and every time someone enters my office, something goes horribly awry. It directly translates to more trouble, and all that before I'd even get the chance to drink my first cup of mushroom tea of the day. He sighs. Well, you did good, indeed, and for that, here's something for you. He hands you 400 Stygian coins. If you seek more work, why not drop by my office sometime, bro? I think I've got some stuff for a man like yourself. You know what? Yeah, do you have any more work for me? Indeed I do. I have 2 jobs for you, as a matter of fact, bro. The first requires you to take a ferry ride to a pretty remote location in Lower Underrail, and the second one is about a genetics disease resistance project. Interested in any of the 2? Or both, perhaps? What was that about genetic disease resistance? Well, it's something I got from the top. You know what I mean? Someone comes into my office and drops the stuff on my desk, whether I like it or not. I'm the PI of the busiest department in the Institute of Short, so things like that are unavoidable, I guess. Magnificent Short. So what I got was about a project on genetic disease resistance. I have to find some subjects who have shown great resilience to deadly disease. Yeah, that's what I was told. What that means is he points to himself, the principal investigator, have to worry about subjects when I have the pacification project on my hands. Shortest recombination paperwork to finish, George's prose team design data to review, even study some devolved cymorphs from the deep caverns that were recently brought in. What I need of you is the following. Walk outside the Institute. There's a bunch of people there. And ask around if anyone exhibits what we require. If not, well, we did our best. Let someone else deal with it. If you do find someone, even better. Since they're already here, they would be easy to convince to come here and do some simple tests. Nothing painful. That is all regarding the matter, indeed. I'm on it, brother. Short guide you. But what if... Oh, that was worth 3. Not too shabby. But what if... I'm interested in what you described as a ferry trip. Alright, bro, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of Forsaken Island? I have never heard of it. Okay, there's no shame in that. Allow me to explain what it is. The Forsaken Island is a remote island situated somewhere between Core City, approximately southeast of it, and the more southern parts of Lower Underrail. It is, people say, surrounded by violent currents, which make it an unpopular place for tourism. He laughs. However, there is something else there, bro. The Forsaken Behemoth. Now, I heard some exaggerated stories about its appearance and behavior. It breathes fire, it shoots lasers from its eyes, it has 7 heads, various nonsense. I mean, the creature, if real, might have some psionic abilities, I don't deny that. It's just that some of the things I've heard take it too far. However, what is consistent in all those stories can be summarized like this. It is a big lizard, a very, very big lizard. And if it really exists, I want a piece of it. Not fight it, but rather a sample of its skin or whatever else you can find. So what I wish you to do is basically this. Go to the island. Find someone who is crazy enough to take you there. See if the creature exists, and bring me a sample of it. There is a possibility it is the only of its kind, so try not to call it. Or we might return later and try to capture it. Simple, bro. Really simple. The pay is good. 650 Karens is, in my opinion, very good, and you'll receive it once you come back from the island. What do you say? A dangerous journey to hunt a giant monster? Count me in. Very good. That's all. Yep, that is all. Good luck, and short guide you, bro. Short guide you, brother. So, trade 1 quest for 2 more. So actually, if they all start paying out in 3, we might have a fair bounty on our hands for experience. I believe we go to the chemical department and give him that protein data. Oh, it's you, brother. I managed to find some data on protein design in Hecate Research Outpost. Here. You did? Oh, that is apex, brother. I'll send this right through to my assistants. This is for you, brother. He grins. He gives you 300 Stygian coins. I'll mention this to Episcopus Lydia at the next symposium. Have no fear. Listen, if you keep this up, you might have a good future in investigation. Honestly. So, I guess there's nothing else you can do here right now. We already did that. Okay, short guide you, Georges. I guess I'll test the other thing later. That was worth 2. So yeah, we're at 7 now. So, that can be done elsewhere. That's in the west wing. That's in the basement. That can be done right outside. And that will require some travel. Let's go outside and finish that one up real quick. George's Evolution, brother. What do you need? Need to leave the Institute building. What is the reason for your egress, brother? On official Institute business. Official business? On whose authority? Right now... Rista. Yes, I've been informed of that, brother. Oh, and I might need to make several trips back and forth. I will note that. Opening the gate now, brother. Short guide you. Short guide you too, brother. The filthy and foul-smelling old man gives you a wicked stare akin to a serpent's. The one with a slight mental... Wow, okay, just going right for it. The one with a slight mental retardation. Afterwards, he opens his mouth so wide it makes him look like he is about to vomit. He doesn't, thankfully, but he still holds the expression, saying nothing at any point during this peculiar introduction. Hi, I'm Bacon. Who are you? He yells loudly. What? Let me repeat that. Hi, I'm Bacon. Who are you? What? Okay. What the hell's wrong with you? Or, you know what, will be nice. Can you understand what I'm saying? Okay. I give up. Goodbye. You approach a young man standing next to a barrel full of boiling soup which doesn't smell nearly as life-threatening as it looks. He wears old, worn-out, but clean clothes that look like they would easily disintegrate should he stand next to a passing train. His physique, on the other hand, is much more solid, handsome, with a burly body covered in clear, uniformly toned skin. That, combined with his unusually milky white teeth, makes him look like he was created to simply stand still and look good. His calloused and heavily scarred hands, however, imply the opposite. Hey, need something? Hello, I'm Bacon. I had some questions if you had the time. Nice to meet you, Bacon. I'm Detritus. Got nothing better to do anyway. What you want to ask? What can you tell me about yourself? At first, he seems a little bit uneasy about the question, but then he decides to answer it. I, I'm a simple zoner from Chorus City who's searching for something better in life. At a drop zone, I lived there my whole life. Awful place to live in, awful people, awful food. You can get your hands on some awful food if you can get your hands on some. And in general, it's awful. Is there anything good about the zone for you? Family, I suppose. Nothing else really comes to mind. But the zone enjoys taking away good things from you. Plague swept my whole family away. Father, mother, granddad, 5 sisters and 2 brothers, all of them older than me. All gone. It is usually easy to lose life in drop zone, but that plague, that was pure evil. Plague? Yes, a hardcore plague dominated half the zone several years ago. Not a lot of folks know about the plague because no one really cares what happens in the drop zone, but us zoners, we care. I care. My dearest are gone because of that pipe-working plague. How did you manage to survive? He shrugs. Luck? It must be luck, because I don't really have an explanation why death decided to spare me. I mean, I've never been ill in my whole life. Ever. No colds, let alone something more serious. That's interesting. Maybe you were immune to the plague somehow. Have you ever been to a doctor? He bursts out laughing. Doctor? No. I'm a zoner, remember? Ah, you don't understand it. You come from a different world, you. It's all just luck. Everything in life is about having luck. That's what I learned. You can be good at something, sure. But if you're unlucky, then that's that. Nothing helps. Look at my hands. I've been working like a slave my whole life. And everything I've earned can be easily chucked down. Pipe works. It's miserable. I was lucky enough to survive the plague, but unlucky with everything else. He shrugs, drifting off for a moment. After taking a deep breath, he continues. Anyway, enough of that. Got any more questions? So, let me go with 5 and 6 first. Who's that derailed geezer outside? Oh, ignore that stinker. He ain't right in the head. He walks around and scares people with his filthy gaping mouth. Only thing he ever says is, what? Just that, and nothing else. He's not violent, or else he would have had his innards splattered over the door by Rastaforus by now. I had other questions. Yeah? Did you see any of the Chortus carrying a strange artifact? Looks like a 20-sided polyhedron. Not anything about any hadrons, and all that hardcore stuff. I'm just a simple zoner who minds his own business. Besides, I spent most of my time here and the view's not the best. Maybe other folks can help you. Someone at the Institute of Chort is interested in the fact that you've survived the drop zone plague. Seems surprised by your statement. Interested? Why? Because you're special. You survived the plague despite the fact that it killed everyone from your family. Could be something genetic, for all we know. I don't think I'm that special. I don't. His voice starts wavering, nervously. And if it's in my genes, then why did my whole family die? Shouldn't we all have that resistance if it's, how's it called, Hereditary? Besides, what if it turns out I'm not special? Then what's going to happen to me? That I don't know. Maybe you were the first with the immunity. You were the youngest of your siblings, right? Now's not the time to have second thoughts. Do you want to get in the Institute short? Or not? Calms down. Ah, pipe works. Yes, yes, you're right. But what do they need me for? What I mean is, what will they do to me? They're going to perform simple tests. They won't hurt you, so don't worry. Alright, count me in. He flashes a joyful smile. Hardcore. Hardcore. I'm as nervous as a cage topper, but count me in. I'm ready. Great, I'll go talk to the chortists. Expect someone to come for you soon. Okay. Can we walk into... Yeah, we can, can't we? Can't get to it, though. Oh, well. See this person nonchalantly watching other people in the courtyard. He has a self-satisfied smile on his face while eyeing everyone around him. And he also seems to hold his chin steadily elevated, as if posing for a sculptor to transfer it onto an elaborate bust. Interestingly, he seems astounded when you come near him and attempt to start a conversation. Your approach is met with a puzzled gawk, followed by him looking down at his body for some, to you, unknown reason. He then lifts his head up and speaks to you. You can see me? Yep, you seem pretty visible to me. He ponders the situation for a moment. The only reasonable explanation for you to be able to see me is that you must possess some special gift, some special power, mortal. Yes, yes, that must be it. Oh, Divine One, it is an honor to be in your presence. Ah, he simply couldn't hide his smug smile. Oh, yes, I like the sound of that. Divine One, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Kale, the Lord of Invisibility. I'm the only one who has truly mastered the art of being in a state of gone, complete invisibility to the naked eye. Gone is the proper term for such state, and it was I who came up with it. Oh, Divine One, that is indeed something I want to know more about. Well, yes, I can see how such divine powers can impress a mortal being, such as yourself, of course. Yes, would you be so kind as to tell me your name? It's Bacon. Bacon, you say. A mortal name indeed. Well, let's talk about that gift of yours, shall we? Let's. Tell me of this gift of yours. When did you first realize you were able to see invisible people? If you can see someone, then he is not invisible. I don't seem to understand the question. I. Working with mortals is painful. Let's try it like this. I am invisible. You can see me. Therefore, since common mortals can't see me, but you can, you must have some special ability which allows you to do so. That is the only logical conclusion. And if you... He stops speaking. As his eyes shift away from you, he begins scratching his beard. He doesn't have one. Okay. Soon after, he points his finger at you and speaks. I understand now why you're so confused. Ha! You haven't had the opportunity to see an invisible person because there wasn't an invisible person to see. I think I'm starting to lose you. You are immortal, so it is not surprising to me. Now, where was I? You cannot answer my question about first noticing you had a gift which allows you to see invisible people because you've never had the opportunity to see an invisible person. I, Kale, the Lord of Invisibility, am the first invisible person you were able to see, and that is why the existence of your gift seems to perplex you so much. For one to know if he is capable of seeing invisible people, he must first see someone who is invisible so that his mind can confirm that he had seen someone invisible. But since he could never see anyone invisible because there wasn't anyone invisible to see, then that one is unaware of his ability to see invisible people. So when he finally has an invisible person to see and he sees it, he doesn't attribute it to the fact that he is able to see invisible people, but considers the invisible person to be visible to everyone. But that still doesn't answer how you were able to see me, or the origin of your gift, mortal. Well, since you seem to have no freaking clue what I'm even talking about, I suppose you won't be of much help, so I'd better leave it at this. I'll just disregard you as an anomaly and stop concerning myself with it. I understood nothing of what you just said. If you call everyone mortal, does that mean you are immortal? But of course, I am special. Do you think this ability was bestowed upon me would fit a mortal man? Just wasted once. I, Kale, the Lord of Invisibility. Perishes? No, that is not how things work, mortal, and I don't expect you to understand. How can you be so sure? He rolls his eyes. You and your mortal questions. How are you so sure? I am sure because what I possess should not be possessed by a mortal man, and if it is not for mortal men, then I am not mortal. Do you understand? But why exactly shouldn't a mortal man have the power to be invisible? Because mortal people are regular people, common, and common men cannot enter the state of gone. I, Kale, Lord of Invisibility, am special, can enter the state of gone, and therefore I am not mortal. Simple logic. Mortal? Now stop bothering me with these silly questions. Tell me more about your invisibility and gone. That might be too much for your mortal brain to handle, so I'll explain it to you in mortal terms. I was born special. When I was 5, I noticed that when I focused really, really hard, I could become invisible. People walked past me like I wasn't there, like I was completely gone. The older I got, the easier it became for me to enter the state of gone. Therefore, I entered it more often, naturally. By now, I have pretty much perfected my craft. Well, you can see me, but you must possess something special which allows you to do so. What if people just ignored you? Impossible. It would mean that all those mortals had to know exactly when I was focusing really hard to enter the state of gone, and then simultaneously decided to ignore me. That sounds, well, retarded. The only logical explanation is that I became truly invisible to them. Why did you call it gone? I like the way it sounded. Gone. Gone. Don't you hear the majesticness of it? No? Never mind then. You perhaps see the Chort is carrying a strange artifact? It looks like a 20-sided polyhedron. I don't remember seeing what you described, no. To be honest, most of the time I don't concern myself with mortal affairs. It's beneath me. What do you know about the Chortists? While they are mere mortals, which usually aren't worth my time, these Chortists are very religious to me. They praise this Chort something, and that's all I know about them. Now, once I show them what I, Kale, Lord of Invisibility, am capable of... Invisibility? Well, of course. Do I have to explain everything to you, mortals? Where was I? Oh, never mind. Why are you here, and do you know about this place? What do you know about this place? I am here to show my power to the Chortists. Unlike you mortals, I can go everywhere I like without being detected by mortal eyes. I am special. With that said, I believe these Chortists, who seem to love praising powerful entities, should be presented with an invisible man, me. As soon as I decide to reveal myself to them, they will most certainly praise me, and I will be granted entry into this glorious building. But why Chortists? Couldn't you find someone else to praise you? Filth. I, Kale, the Lord of Invisibility, dislike everything Underrail has to offer, everything but the Chort Institute, or whatever it is called. This building is worthy of being my residence, and so it shall be once the Chortists see the invisible man, me. They must live in abundance, and I deserve only the best. I hope that answers your question, mortal. So... Okay, we can't do anything else. Oh well, I was kind of hoping there'd be something more to that. A petite young woman appears to be lost in thought, her gaze fixed on some distant spot far behind you. Upon approaching her, she looks at you and smiles, making her cheeks plump up. When she speaks, her voice has a mostly pleasant timbre, but there is also a hint of abrasiveness from time to time, sounding like she's suffered some degree of damage to her voice. Hi, stranger. Are you also here to join the Chortists? Maybe. What can you tell me about them? Oh, well. Oh, well then, if you are, join the line. Ha! But first, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Daphne. Nice to meet you. It's Bacon. Nice to meet you too, Daphne. Do you see them with a polyhedron? What you described? No. But I remember a large group of Chortists coming back from Core City. That's what I overheard, and they seem to have had something pretty valuable with them. Again, I sort of overheard them talk. What happened then? They went inside. Huh. What else? Anyway, that's all I remember seeing. What can you tell me about yourself? I'm a geneticist from Foundry. What exactly do you mean by that? You see, Foundry is a station town, call it however you will, and that revolves around a single thing, mining. Well, mining, processing, and manufacturing products out of ore that has been mined out, true. But the most important aspect is that such a place has no room for, say, a biologist. It's like a fisherman on a train station. He's got nothing to do. Huh. Anyway, I had to get out of there. Okay. I was just checking to see if anybody else might have applied, but I'm pretty sure it's only Detritus. And back in we go. So we're going to go turn that into Rista. And we will call it there for the time being. As always, I do thank you for stopping by and watching. It's a shame it's not being streamed, but again, you know, is what it is. Uh, Next time, we'll try wrapping a few more of these quests up, but this will probably take a couple more sessions, honestly. Let's see. Yes, I talked to a man called Detritus who had survived a plague that hit Core City's drop zone several years ago. He said he's willing to become a subject. Detritus, huh? Tell me more of this man, bro. Well, he's a zoner whom I found right in front of the Institute. His whole family died from the plague, yet he survived. He also told me he was rarely, if ever, ill in his life. Never ill. And you said his whole family died? Fair enough. I think we're onto something here. He makes a brief pause. By the chort, I think he is who we're looking for. If what you say is true, we might not even need other subjects at all. Okay, well, there you go then. Couldn't be better. I don't think anyone will bug me for a while regarding that project. Apex. I just need to contact someone to bring him in, and job is done. He laughs. It's an honor to serve the Institute of Short, Principal Investigator. Indubitably. You've earned yourself some good coins for this, and you didn't even have to walk too far. Here are 200 Karens, and that is all regarding this matter. Thank you very much. Alright, short guide you. That was worth, okay, it was only worth one, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Good news is we've already talked to everybody, got the bare essentials done. Until we get further in, I don't think we have to worry too much about more dialogue. So, next few sessions, next two-ish, should be more quests. We're just going to try and get as many of these done, see if we can't inch over to 25 while we're at it. But after that, before we wrap things up with the Institute, we will be hitting the DLC. I would like to get the fourth super still refining data, and I do know where I can get it. Outside of the DLC, that is. But I'm not sure where it's going to fit in, so we're going to see. Overall, let's see. We'll be continuing alternating this and Breath of Fire 3 for the time being until Breath of Fire 3 is over. I'll probably double up on these though, simply because, well, kind of had a lot more of these, or a lot more content before. Um, so yeah, thank y'all for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like it if you did, and if you're not already subscribed and want to see more, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see y'all next time. Y'all take it easy, have a wonderful evening, and take care of yourselves. Because this world is almost as unforgiving as Underrail's.